Know your place, worm. Prepare yourself. Damn Saiyan.
Normally my episode reviews will be the first thing that comes out after the episode airs on Saturday. So make sure you look out for that, because normally I will not put review in the title, something similar to what Expert Games does with his episode reviews. This one's coming a little bit late, but I wanted to go ahead and dive in and jump into what exactly happened and give you guys my thoughts. I know you guys probably have been waiting here patiently, and first things first, there is no knocking the animation when it comes to episode 104. The way that Dispo moves, the way that his time skip worked, everything was crystal clear. Now, there was a good amount, a good chunk of reused scenes from earlier episodes, but it never felt like it was out of place, and mainly that was due to the excellent storyline. The storyline was so intriguing. We got so many little nuggets of information that it just pulled you in. It immersed itself completely. It was enthralling. A very, very good episode. So the episode itself starts out with Dispo and Hit standing off. They are basically about to go at it, and Dispo counters Hit's time skip by listening to the vibrations of Hit's muscles right before he goes into the time skip. So he basically knocks him clean out right before he goes into the time skip, and that is a perfect counter. I never would have thought of that, trying to hit the time skip before it happens, but that is a perfect counter for the time skip itself, and it makes sense because of Dispo's gigantic rabbit-like ears. And so as the episode continues, Hit is adapting to Dispo's speed as they are confronting each other, and even Topo comments that Dispo, or Hit, is letting Dispo hit him so that way he can, well, as we see later on, he can lure him in a false sense of security, but he can also try to adapt to Dispo's speed, which is one of Hit's greatest strengths, is being able to adapt and strengthen himself through combat relatively quickly, adapting his skills. So when Dispo goes in for that last killer shot to kick him off the ring, Hit essentially dips into another dimension, which is a power that we've seen him do. Dispo goes flying off, and we think he's done, but his partner comes and saves him comes to the rescue. And honestly, I think that they're saving Dispo for something a lot more, a lot better, something a lot more inducive to the story when it comes to Goku and his new transformation. I think that the fact that most of Universe 6 is still and Universe 7 are still alive, and there's only 3 fighters now because that guy that saved Dispo is gone. There's only 3 fighters left on the Universe 11. They need to kind of keep Dispo in there. And I actually really like him. I want to see more from him. I want to see more characterization. And I think we'll get that, seeing as how he is, wait for it, Beerus and Champa's race. Now, this is probably, unless they go into a whole storyline of what is Beerus's race, this is probably the most we're going to be getting as a confirmation as to what Dispo is. Because Champa's talking about Dispo's face being similar to Beerus's face. They have very stoic faces. And then even Vados is like, I mean, he'd be the same as your face. You guys are the same. And then he's like, well, yeah, you know. And so that whole little interaction for all those people for months on end, even on videos, my recent videos, who have been hating on the fact that I've been saying that Dispo is essentially a Beerus Race. I mean, he's just different. He looks different. He looks more like a rabbit instead of a cat, but he's essentially the same thing. That's the hardest confirmation we're going to be getting. And for people who really take confirmations, like less confirmations than that, for other things, you should really apply that confirmation, because it's a pretty strong confirmation that they are all part of the same species. So I was really happy to finally get some clarification on that. I was waiting for this episode, honestly. Going back to the Hit and Dispo fight, the fight after that essentially turns into Hit easily, very easily, using tactics and strategy to confuse Dispo. He makes his body go into this sort of vibration that is going to signify that he is about to go into his time skip. And when Dispo goes in for the hit's got a counter hit essentially. And this is awesome. This is epic because I don't know why Dispo would tell him. I don't know why villains do this. I feel like I wish that hit would have been like, why would you tell me how your thing works? You should let me figure it out on my own. And they, not villains, but why do characters do this? Like, especially in Dragon Ball, they'll explain their techniques, and that would just lead to their opponent finding a way to counter them. And the only time it didn't work was, I think, Goku versus Hit. Goku kind of just saw the Vegeta fight, and then during his fight, he kind of tested out some theories and then found out this is what it is, without Hit actually having to tell him. So this is perfect into Hit's character, that he uses strategy and he uses deception in such a masterful way. I got a couple of shout outs. I missed a couple, so real quick, on my breakdown of Goku Silver Eyes video, both of these videos links are going to be in the description below. Check them out. I'm going to give a double shout out, one to Zai Zoldyck and another to Super Saiyan Violet Qualifla. And he says, I will not let you destroy my world. And then they say, their response is, universe. Yeah, that's true, because, you know, the world really isn't at stake right now. It is, but there is far more at stake, honestly, than just the universe. So I wanted to point, I'm hoping he does say something similar, but that's probably one of my favorite lines from Dragon Ball Super. And on my other video, the Omni-King Zen-Oh's Eternal Kai, this is for the Grand Priest. No disrespect, but if you think he only destroys the universe, you're in denial. Even in the manga, when Zen-Oh erased Zamasu, the timeline was destroyed, meaning the timeline vanished. Zamasu's presence spread to another world, to another timeline. The only possible way to have destroyed him was to erase the timeline. We says the world is greater than the universe. Omni-King can erase evildoers, of course, planets, galaxies, even the entire universe. If the Omni-King wishes, he could erase the entire world. He implied that the world is bigger than the timeline. My only response here is that, yeah, I made this video in respect of before the manga chapter came out, and well, before I read it, and more focused on the anime. For the most part, the manga and the anime are completely different. They follow almost two completely different timelines. So what happens in the manga is not going to be correlating 100% to what happens in the anime. Now, there are instances that this is true, but in this instance, we have not seen it confirmed yet. And so or at all actually, because in the anime, when Zeno destroys the universe, or destroys the Zamasu, it is just, he says world several times, and even the other characters say world after that. So for anything, it really just is implied that the planet Earth is destroyed. But I think that the entire Universe 7 of Future Trunks timeline was destroyed. But Future Trunks timelines, Universe 1 through 12, are still there, but except for the exception of Universe 7. So that's what I was thinking in that scenario, because we haven't gotten confirmed yet. And again, in the manga, yes, it does essentially say that that timeline is destroyed because the timeline is destroyed. In the anime, it has not been confirmed. So the fight between Dispo and Hit really just ends with Hit destroying Dispo. Not destroying him, but beating him almost senseless. And it was a really good fight, loved it. Loved the fact that Super Saiyan God Goku came back. But let me get into this part right here, which is essentially one of the most important parts of the video, is the fact that the Omni-King was not able to see the fight between Dispo and Hit. He says he can't see it. How powerful is the Omni-King? So a lot of people are thinking like the Omni-King is extremely powerful. He cannot be defeated because of things that we've heard in the anime. But that does not mean that the Omni-King is a great warrior of any sense. I mean, if he was almighty, and he just perfect at everything. He was just perfect at everything, and he's got like some sort of epic fighting form maybe that he transforms into, or maybe not even that. I don't know what the case might be on that. But if he was just some sort of fighter, he knew so much. Well, he would have been able to see that fight, honestly. So the fact that he wasn't able to see that fight and the Angels were able to see that fight, it really just shows me two things. The Omni-King is not as powerful as he seems, and the Omni-King may only have really one power. So the Omni-King could, from what we've seen, very well be immortal. Obviously, in my other video, I made a theory on there being some sort of Supreme Kai attached to him because he was more like a god of destruction than anything else. But we have not seen that confirmed. So for now, he could either be immortal. I don't know. Who knows what the case is. But we know he can be grabbed and touched and all that. Goku shakes his hand. Goku grabs him and hugs him. All this crazy stuff. So I think that the Omni-King is, not only is he probably immortal, but I feel like I think he might be not that powerful physically. I think he's not that powerful physically, honestly. I think that his only power is to destroy universes. That's what he's there for. That's and basically oversee the Angels. That's probably his real only role. But when it comes to being a great fighter and having skills, like huge skills when it comes to his eyesight and everything like that, I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think that he is far weaker when it comes to all those aspects, and maybe that's the reason he finds these fights so intriguing, because he is not a martial artist and he's not the most epic fighting machine that has ever been built in the whole entire universe, even though he rules over it from what we know at this moment from episode 104. So very great revelation when that happened. I was like, wait a minute, he at least should be able to see this fight, seeing as how he supervises the Angels and he sees everything. Well, it was assumed that he sees everything, but now he may not see everything, and from what we've seen, he gets bored and destroys planets and stuff like that, and so he doesn't really have that many characteristics that would push him or push us to believe that he is this great and mighty powerful being physically with all these different powers. The only power we've really seen, again, is universal Hakai. So speaking about things that are brought from the manga into the anime, they finally brought it, and I waited for it, and Vegeta better fucking have it. They brought back the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue switch, where Super Saiyan God, what did we say specifically here? I wrote it down. He said Super Saiyan God is faster than Super Saiyan and uses less stamina than Blue. Blue uses more stamina but is stronger. And when he used Blue, he maximized his speed and his strength. But again, it uses a lot more stamina. That definitely is playing into the part where Goku he's fighting so much in all these forms, he's going to use all his stamina by the time he fights Jiren. Jiren has a huge advantage by not having to fight anybody at this point. From what we've seen, he has not ringed out anybody, has not fought anybody, so he is at a great advantage when it comes over Goku. But Goku is going to the Super Saiyan God form, which reserves his stamina and keeps him from being exhausted too quickly. But as we've seen in the episode, he just pops in and out of his Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue forms. To me, that really is pushing the fact. I know in my last video, I stated that I would have liked to see this new Silver Eyes Goku transformation be more of a technique, not a transformation, something that he uses to power himself up, maybe momentarily through several attacks, something similar to My Hero Academia's All for One. But from what we've seen and what was hinted at in this episode, I feel like my original theory that this is just a combination, there's going to be a combination of red and blue, probably is what is going to happen, because if you combine both of these transformations, you're going to be getting all the best aspects of what a Super Saiyan, what any god should be, honestly. So really happy they brought this back, and I swear to God, if Vegeta does not do this, if we do not see Super Saiyan God Vegeta, I'm going to be extremely pissed off, because Vegeta needs something. He needs something to be like on track with Goku, and most of this tournament, even though I love Goku, has been Goku episodes, and Vegeta being his rival, we need to see some Vegeta love in here. And I mean, we've seen even a Krillin episode. The next episode is Master Roshi episode, but again, we need a Vegeta episode, and I think the tournament still has a ways to go, so I think we'll definitely be seeing that. And the last thing that I really wanted to comment on was the fact that his killing technique does not kill, or he can make it so it doesn't kill, because he hit that one Pride Trooper, the chubby guy with the ropes. I love that scene. He was like, we left trash everywhere. All right, touch it then if it's trash. Like, obviously if he touches it, it will explode. But it was pretty awesome. I love that scene. And then he hits him with his killing technique, but it doesn't kill him. It just kind of knocks him knocks him down, so knocks him out. So I love that part. But that was essentially the last thing I really wanted to comment on the episode. The next episode is a Master Roshi episode. You guys know my feelings on Master Roshi. I don't really like him in Dragon Ball Super, to be honest. I preferred him much more in Dragon Ball Z when he was like having epic moments talking about how his fighting days are over, and they brought him back instead of Gotenks, which I think Gotenks would have been a much better character, especially since the tournament's 45 minutes long and the fusion is going to be 30 minutes. So I mean, for the majority of it he could have been Gotenks. But anyway, you know, I'll review it and see what happens. Maybe we get some really interesting tidbits and more revelations in the episode. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of episode 104. Drop me a like if you liked my video, and this is going to be Dragon Ball Black, signing off.